Hi, I'm Liron Cohen.
And I'm Mimi Torchin.
And you're listening to Lady Parts TV, the podcast.
Whee!
Hi, Mimi.
Hi, Liron.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Ready to talk some television and movies? Always, right? I mean, let's be real. We do
what
it all
else
the
do
time.
we talk about? Except watercolor.
You talk, I listen when it comes to watercolor. Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Thank you for
all.
joining us. We hope you're enjoying spring. And
Spring?
It is spring, officially.
Officially and actually having spring is one thing.
I think we've been having really nice weather.
Yeah, it's not been bad.
So we tallied 23 primetime shows, out of which 13 were written and directed by women, which is 56%. Cool.
And,
That's it.
Both,
Yeah,
yes.
because it's actually the same today.
Yes, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's not the same shows, different shows. But
Yes, some of them were the same.
some of them were the same. Yes, I think we had a couple of shows here that contributed significantly to these numbers.
Yes. And I think I'm about to talk about one of them.
Let's get started then.
Yes, it's a new series from Hulu, premiering on Hulu March 29th. It's called The Girl from Plainville, created by Liz Hanna and Patrick McManus, and it's based on a true story. This is based on an article by Jesse Barron. It's inspired by the horribly true story. It's not so horrible. It was psychotic. It was mentally...
Well, it's interesting because it's one of those kind of blurry lines of, like new technology and where the line, it's kind of like new laws that have to be created for new technology, but also, things like that happened before technology. It's just different. I think technology and social media and all that stuff have really complicated a lot of laws that will have to be updated.
Well, this is the true story of Michelle Carter, and it says her unprecedented texting suicide case. And it's about her relationship with Coco, Conrad Roy III, and the events that led to his death by suicide. And her conviction.
Well, the entire lead up to that, it's
for involuntary manslaughter. Now, I had gotten this mixed up. I remembered a case where a girl's mother was really the one who inspired, and I think it was another girl who was like her daughter's rival, to commit suicide.
Well, just in case.
But let me just tell them who the cast is.
The cast is excellent.
Chloe Sevigny, Colton Ryan, Kelly O'Coin, Cara Buono, and Norbert Leo Butts. I still say, was there another Norbert Butts in Equity or SAG that he had to add the Leo? But anyway, I digress.
Elle Fanning does such a good job with these kind of sweet-looking, but yet something creepy is going on underneath that surface.
Yes, she often has something creepy going on under that beautiful surface of hers. She's an interesting actress, a very good and accomplished actress. She's complicated, and
that's the thing is complicated. The thing is that she looks like just this cute little blonde girl, but she has this real dark underbelly that she knows how to play to very well. And in this, what she does that's interesting is she's an actress playing a girl who's acting some of the time, but she doesn't do it that well. So she's a good actress, but the character isn't as good as the actress. I always think that how it's like, when you're a really good singer and you have to sing off key, how hard it is.
Must be. Well, there are a lot of contradictions in the character, and
you're not quite sure,
and you feel them, and so do her friends. Her friends are all kind of like,
it's so anxiety-provoking, and yet it's hauntingly addictive.
Yes.
I couldn't get enough of it, even though I was very uncomfortable watching it.
We have more to watch.
Yes, I know. I'm looking forward to it.
But you can't really binge it.
It's hard to binge on it,
it's too dark.
Yeah. Well, no,
And,
yeah. I mean, it's hard to imagine us saying that, but yeah.
Yes. And the poor boy, I feel so sorry for him.
Yeah. But it's really good. And what I love is also because a lot of it is text-based. But
instead of texting.
Instead of just showing them texting each other, they actually have them like in the same room talking to each other. Which is so much better.
Yeah.
Because that's one of those obstacles about dealing with technology.
However, having said that, there is some confusion
it can
as
be
to
confusing
what's happening, where it's happening, how it's happening.
Because they go between different timelines.
Yep,
so it is a little confusing.
The past.
Yeah, they need to have a little bit of a better marker of the change of times. But it's not
wonderful.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. And as we always say, if you don't feel like subscribing is a good time to get your free trial.
Although I personally feel that Hulu is worth
its money.
Hulu has
definitely.
a lot of really good stuff.
And they have a original lot of sales where you can get it for like $1.99 or $2.99.
I love that they have those tiers. If you want to watch ads, you can pay less, whereas other places just give you a flat rate and that's it. I like that they give you that versatile option. The Girl from Plainville starts on Hulu March 29th. We recommend that you check it out. Here's another reason to get your money's worth from Hulu, Life and Beth, created by Amy Schumer. And I kind of feel like I can just stop right here. I think you can imagine what because Amy Schumer...
It's so totally Amy Schumer.
She has such a unique voice. Now, when she does stand-up, I feel that she's too coarse.
Yes, she is. I think it's because it's kind of...
it's her trademark.
Yes, but it's also... what's the word I'm looking for when it's different from how you appear?
It's a persona?
No. She seems not like... She should be saying the things she says.
No, I just feel
it doesn't go with her...
that doesn't bother me. It's just that, like, for example, her new tour we just talked about yesterday is called the Horror Tour.
Yeah, why?
Why? I mean, I feel that it's beneath her. But
she is
brilliant. That's her thing.
She has a crazy mind.
Genius.
But
and
it
actually,
is genius.
And this show is not like the stand-up. I mean, this is an actual show.
Yes.
It's an actual written, scripted drama comedy.
Good cast.
Excellent cast.
Did you mention?
Amy Schumer. Violet Young plays her when she was young because it goes back and forth in time. Laura Benanti.
No, wait, we're not going to
I'm not going to tell you anything about Laura Benanti. I'm just going to tell you.
Because at first you'll go, what the fuck?
But when we saw that Laura Benanti was in this,
that cemented it.
Oh, please. Oh, we just adore her. Susanna Flood, Michael Cera, Yamanika Saunders for you Last Comic Standing
fans.
Now, this is...
And Kevin Kane.
And Kevin Kane, among others. So Amy Schumer plays this woman who, the synopsis says, who seemed to have it all, but except it's very clear from the very first moment that she doesn't have it all.
Exactly.
I mean, yes, she lives in Manhattan. She has a boyfriend who's pretty handsome, who thinks of himself as much more handsome than he is. Much better,
right. But she considers him, what'd you say, a Manhattan?
Nine. New York Nine.
New York Nine, no.
But he's also an idiot, so it doesn't really... I don't think people can be attractive.
And he's totally self-centered, and he's an asshole.
Right, so to me, it takes away from the...
But anyway, she has a decent job,
but she's Amy Schumer.
She's Amy
Even
Schumer,
though she's
so
not. Even though she's not playing Amy Schumer, she's so playing that Amy Schumer character that we know and love.
Still, The Last Fuckable Day is probably one of the best skits ever.
So something happens in her life, and she has to revisit her past, and so that's when we keep going back and forth in time, and kind of the creation of who she became, and reclaiming her voice and her power, and it's so completely original. Completely Amy Schumer. We laughed. It was so out of where does it come from? Where do those things come from?
That mind of hers.
Mind, yeah. So it's one of those things that's full of those little idiosyncratic things that are like, what the fuck? That's really funny because it's like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
So Life and Beth.
she's so intelligent.
It seems that Hulu, by the way, released all of it at once, so you can just go and binge on Life and Beth.
They aren't going to torture you like the networks,
everything
and
else
they do.
Pretty much, yes. Life and Beth is available on Hulu right now.
And now for something completely different.
You know, we say that every week.
Well, because
we do a lot of things.
Exactly.
How eclectic are we? Aren't we very eclectic? I'm so impressed.
We're not really that eclectic.
We're not.
We really pretty much like what we like. And every once in a while we go to something completely different.
Every week.
This is a new series premiering on Apple TV Plus Friday, April the 1st, and it's not a joke.
It's not a joke. It's not even, I mean, it is too funny for my liking. But.
Yeah, it is. It does have a little bit of a comic undertone, but it's still pretty, it's still a...
thriller.
Is it
drama.
MI6?
MI5.
5. Okay, 5 is local British, not international terrorism.
Yeah, I guess so.
And it stars...
It's called Slow Horses.
Slow Horses, and which is a play on words, actually.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you'll find out.
It's based on a book by Mick Herron, who I don't know, but it stars Jack Lowden, the brilliant Gary Oldman, Olivia Cooke, who we didn't know was British.
I don't know.
Jonathan Pryce, and Kristen Scott Thomas, as you
who just gets better and better
is
with
my
time.
adored one. She gets better and more beautiful and sexier
and
funnier. More interesting. She's actually quite comedic and very, very. She's just
much to my
divine.
surprise.
Yes.
It's not the first thing you think of.
And it follows it's about a group of British intelligence agents who work in a terrible office, like under a Chinese restaurant almost. That's called Slough House.
Slough House, yeah.
It's spelled Slough, but I think it's pronounced sort of slow. They go through garbage and stuff. It's like when you've made a terrible mistake. Instead of kicking you out, they relegate you to this place, and you're not supposed to be there forever. Although I think Gary Oldman.
I think if they had to be there forever, they would have quit. I think they're there because it's the promise of you know it's serve your time and then you make penance and come back.
Right. It's a little bit of purgatory.
Because they're actually good. Yeah, because they're actually good agents.
Yes, very good. They've just made a mistake, and this is how they're punished instead of fired.
Yeah.
And it has a slight comedic edge.
It has too much of a comedic edge to me.
No, it doesn't bother me that much.
Well, what bothers me is because the beginning of the first episode was really, really good.
Oh, my God. It was so exciting.
It was really good. And then the ending had a promise for the future.
Right.
In the middle, it had too much, silly office comedy.
And there wasn't nearly enough Kristen, who plays,
I think we'll have more of
she's
later.
She's practically head of MI5.
Maybe, or at least that
anyway,
unit.
She's got because she's in, what do they call it?
Anyway, though, I think we'll have more of her coming up.
And I enjoyed it way, way more than Liron did, but I really enjoyed it. And I think it's going to get better and better.
Yeah, I think it will, too.
I love the lead,
I'm looking
too.
forward to checking out the second.
I don't know Jack Lowden, but I liked him very much. And Gary Oldman plays just a slobby, irascible, brilliant.
Enraging
guy, yeah. He doesn't. I think he'd rather be somewhere else.
Well, yes, of course. He's there permanently in this Slow House or whatever.
Yeah, Slow Horses.
So this is Slow Horses, premiering on Apple TV Plus Friday.
April Fools, but it's not a fool.
By the way, there's more good stuff coming from Apple TV Plus that we will be reviewing.
Yes, Apple TV Plus is on fire.
Not to mention, Physical Season 2 is going to come out soon, too.
I was going to say Physical Season... Oh, Physical. Season 2.
Season 2.
Commas. We need those commas.
All right. Now, this is interesting. This is actually a new release of an old movie with a lesbian bent to it. It's called I've Heard the Mermaids Singing. You may have heard about it or seen it because it is kind of a classic in a way. It already opened in New York and in LA. It is expanding to select cities nationwide in the spring. Just the remastered 4K restored version. You can already get the movie in its original release that's out there, of course.
And by the way, I've been away from New York. We've been away from New York so long that I don't even know what the Metrograph is in New York.
I have no idea either. I don't know if it's something that popped up in the last 2 years. Written and directed by Patricia Rozema, whom you might know. She also made When Night is Falling
and Mansfield Park.
Park.
Yep, she's a very good director.
And it's starring a very, very small cast. Basically, comprised of these three women. Sheila McCarthy, who's the lead.
She's wonderful.
Oh,
and quirky and
she's
adorable.
such a good actress.
Mm-hmm. She's a wonderful actress.
Paula Bellargin.
Bellargin. Yeah.
And Anne-Marie MacDonald, who you might remember from
Better Than Chocolate.
Better Than Chocolate. She was the bookstore owner.
But she's quite different here.
Very different. Well, she's an actress.
Yes.
Anyway, it by the way, it won the Mimi. What is it called? Prix de la
Jeunesse.
I'm so sorry, we're murdering French here.
At the 1987 Cannes Film Festival.
Yes. So
I hiccuped when I said festival.
Anyway, so it's a very quirky and odd little film
about the art world and about relationships, and
it's actually they consider it, and I see why, a character study, because this character played by Sheila McCarthy, Polly, she is a very unique, kind of wide-eyed, innocent but very clever in different ways.
Very smart.
Young woman who. She's a photographer. She's a kind of a loner. She doesn't even have any plans for the future. She kind of goes with the flow, and she gets a temp job with a curator at an art gallery who is also a painter.
As her assistant.
And she's a lesbian, the curator. She's in a relationship with Anne-Marie MacDonald. And I'm not going to tell you anything else because really... There isn't even else
it's hard
to
describe.
It's just following this character and getting into her head. She's very pleasant to live in her head, even though she's very weird. But there's something so charming about her,
and innocent,
and so and genuine.
Yes, she's endearing, and it's hard to describe. But
I enjoyed it.
I loved it
very much.
In a less quirky way. It kind of reminded me a little bit. Of the Strawberry Mansions, in that it was but it was a lot of
Strawberry Mansion though was completely surreal.
Yes, but it had a lot of fantasy elements to it when she would go off into
a little bit. But I felt this one was much more grounded in reality, and I wouldn't have enjoyed it nearly as much if it had been that fanciful.
No, it's really a very, very to me. It was a surprisingly good. I don't remember seeing it.
No, I haven't seen it either. And actually, I mean, the lesbian aspect of it isn't
very
the central.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But there was just something about it that it's to me it's more like psychological, and I don't know. It charmed me.
Yes, and there are no bad people in it, and it's
about people. Relationships, people, art.
And art.
Yeah. I thought there were some very clever lines in that dialogue.
Very.
And some interesting insights and observations about the human condition.
And her naivete has some laughs to it and some sweetness. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed it. It's called I've Heard the Mermaids Singing. Finally, this is a heads up for something I've been looking forward to for a long time, and I'll tell you the number one reason why I've been looking forward to it for a long time. Sarah Lancashire. Oh, okay.
Who cannot make a wrong step.
Oh my God. And the more she does comedy, the more I enjoy it, because
she's so funny.
She is so funny. And this is a very specific role.
Funny, yes. Julia
Child. You may remember her also played by Meryl Streep. As far as I'm concerned, Sarah Lancashire is almost the British Meryl Streep. Premiering on HBO Max March 31st. They're going to release 3 episodes at once, and then it's going to be that slow slog of one a week.
Yes, but at least it's nothing that we aren't familiar with, and it isn't
it's not going to be
suspenseful.
Right. Created by Daniel Goldfarb, starring Sarah Lancashire, Bebe Neuwirth, who is so delighted,
and
David Hyde Pierce, also Isabella. Yes, also Isabella Rossellini, Judith Light.
I think it must be in every contract
must employ Judith Light.
Must have a part for Judith Light. Yes,
I think that Judith Light just is somebody who everybody just wants.
Yes,
in their work, and so she just has to work nonstop. how nice for us that we get to enjoy her.
Such a great actress and a wonderful person.
She is one of the best. And the first recipient of the Wonder Woman Award from Lady Parts TV Awards.
Yes, indeed.
So this is the story of Julia Child, her life and her show, The French Chef.
Which essentially, and it's true.
Yes, invented food
television.
The Cooking Network or whatever it's called, that wouldn't probably be here if it hadn't been for here. And also, just from watching the trailer, you can see that a lot of this is about being a woman, being
in a man's world, sexism, and her just overcoming it.
Yeah, I mean, not just. I mean,
I don't mean just, but.
No, I mean, there's actually a point where she says, one of the advantages of looking like me is that you just you learn not to take no for an answer. And so, it's something that she's obviously dealt with her whole life, because not only is she a woman, but she's not, like the standard beauty ideal and all that stuff.
There are a lot of jokes about being camera ready.
But I love it when the underdog wins, and she showed them. Anyway, it looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought to myself at first, oh my God, I love Sarah Lancashire, I love Julia Childs, but I've seen it.
Yeah.
But
you haven't.
You haven't.
No, you haven't. And I will watch Sarah Lancashire do literally anything.
Right.
Literally.
She's one of those.
Yes, definitely. So Julia, premiering on HBO Max March 31st. We're very excited to tell you, if you don't already know, that And Just Like That was renewed for a second season.
Yes, bravo.
Vigil was renewed for a second season. Let's hope Rose Leslie is in it too, because it hasn't been confirmed yet.
They better not ruin our love affair.
They better not. And we finished The Gilded Age, which we're so happy to say. The first episode had nothing to do with how good the rest of the show
is. We were so disappointed after that first episode, because we had been waiting with literally bated breath, counting the days. I was... Shut up.
And that first episode was so
such
disappointing.
A letdown. Yeah. And then it just soared.
You did. It really did.
It just got better and better every week. And
that opening theme was so fabulous.
I know. And
I get especially excited when there's a good opening theme.
That cast. It's a great, great show.
Carrie Coon, I just love her so much.
We didn't like her so much at the beginning because she seemed oddly cast.
And actually, we learned that Amanda Peet was supposed to be that role,
which seems
even worse,
not strong enough to me. Because Carrie Coon, we can see why she was.
I think that she just needed to grow on us, because the character needed to show more layers. She was very abrasive and hard to root for at the beginning. But as we grew to like her.
She grew on us.
But I think the only person that I think was really wasted in her role was Christine Baranski.
She would
come, do a couple of zingers, and leave. And why not give her own story, her own arc? I mean, it was such a waste, unless she was not available for much, and they said, okay, whatever you can do, we'll take. I don't.
Well, she's wonderful. It's just that
she was wasted.
She has so much more to give.
Yeah.
But everybody is wonderful.
Yeah, Louisa Jacobson was wonderful. Little Meryl's daughter.
One of a secret Gummer sister. Changed her last name but couldn't change her face.
As soon as we saw her, I was like, that's a Gummer girl.
That's a Gummer girl.
But wait, she was a psychology major. Kelly O'Hara, of course.
And in a very substantial role, I'm happy to say.
Yes, and hopefully more next year.
She's so great.
Cynthia Nixon, Audra McDonald. Oh, it was really, really delightful. We really enjoyed it. So if we, I know that after the first episode we gave it a really kind of
lukewarm,
at best, review. So if we discouraged you, go back and watch it.
Well, I think that we've come back many times and
we
revised our opinion.
We haven't really. I did it on social media, but I'm not sure that it reached everybody. So I just want to confirm that you all know that we loved it. So
and I'm sure that none of you were discouraged by us. And if you were, run immediately to HBO and HBO Max and watch it, because it's fabulous television. Just for the costumes alone.
Yes, I can see Emmys. Well, thank you for joining us for another podcast episode of Lady Parts TV, and we will talk to you again very soon.
Absolutely. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.